So in my previous video, I had talked about the processes, all right, or the procedure for teaching certification for provinces like Ontario, Alberta, and other ones that I made in that video, all right, teaching benefits and other details. Just use the link in the description box of this video to watch that video before you actually watch this one. So today I'll be talking about the part 2 of that. All right, teaching certification in Saskatchewan is my focus in this video. All right, so if you have tried the other one, or if Saskatchewan is your own province that you're looking at, just watch the step-by-step guide in this video. And if you're just coming across my channel for the first time, hi, welcome to my channel. My name is Emanuela, and for returning viewers or subscribers, I say big welcome back to you and thanks for all your support. Here I share information with regards to moving abroad. Most times I share step-by-step demo or guide so that you make your application without any stress at all and be successful at it. So do like this video, all right, share with a lot of people, subscribe if you're new here, and then support the channel by turning on your post notifications to get updated or to be the first person to know when I upload useful content like the one you're about to watch now. To notice that the teaching profession in Canada is well regulated. It means that there's step-by-step process you have to follow before you're able to get certified as a teacher in Canada. So which means that you need a special license or a special kind of short-term qualification or education or training to be able to teach in Canada. This differs across different provinces, so the requirements are different. Ontario is different from what Alberta offers. So let's look at the teaching pathway in Saskatchewan. So to apply or come into Canada as a foreign trained teacher from your home country, what are the steps that you need to take to be successful? All right, first thing you need to know is that you need the Saskatchewan Teacher Certificate, which is issued by the Saskatchewan Professional Teachers Regulatory Board. This board issues teaching certificates before you can actually teach in Saskatchewan. You need to contact this board with the link in the description box. I'll put it there, and you get your credentials assessed. Firstly, so getting your credentials or documents assessed is, for example, like you have to request for your transcript from your institution where you have previously studied from your home country. You need to use WEST. That's not just the WEST. You need to use ICAP WEST, International Credential Advantage Package. On the WEST website, you see there, I'll put the link in the description box so that you can follow due process. So if you're going to apply as a teacher in Canada, you don't just use WEST, you use ICAP WEST to have your documents assessed. So someone might ask, why do we have to use ICAP WEST? So this is because at the end of the assessment, when they are done assessing your document, this package will permit or allow WEST to send both the reports and a verified copy of your transcript to the teachers regulatory body in Saskatchewan, because there will be some places you need to fill the province and all of that you're using to make your application. So if you don't do this like this way that I had just mentioned, the outcome will be insufficient. Hence, you need to have to spend money over again. So even when you check the website of the regulatory body, it is stated there for you to use the ICAP WEST to have your documents assessed. The second thing to note is that after your assessment, the board receives the evaluation report and your transcript. They will issue that to you as the applicant, a letter of assessment. Okay, so in the letter, you will be provided with their recommendations on the basis of trainings or further qualification you need added to the previous one you had before you started making your application. So this means that they will tell you if you need further trainings added to the previous training or qualification you've gotten from your home country as a teacher. All right, so please bear that in mind. For some people, they might tell them to have to undertake other trainings, while for some people it is just straight up to go into teaching Canada. So most times for international or foreign trained teachers, the recommendation from the board is usually for you to take up internationally educated teacher certificate as the IETC. So just bear in mind that this program is offered at the University of Saskatchewan for at least 1 year. So you will learn framework of Saskatchewan schools, courses bordering around teaching, management of the learners in Canada or the students in Canada in the classroom, and other courses you will need to find on your own on the website. Also, you will get internationally educated teachers field work, like a practicum, where you are sent to a classroom. Like some people have it as teaching practice in my country, Nigeria. All right, so you'll also be sent to a classroom to teach or possibly get an experience. That's a field work as a teacher in Saskatchewan area in Canada. So please note that you cannot apply to this college in Saskatchewan just on your own. That I mean U of S, University of Saskatchewan, without a letter of assessment or a letter of permission from the regulatory board, which is SPTRB. So you get the letter of assessment first from the board to accompany with your application, University of Saskatchewan, before they can consider it, and then you start your teacher's studies. So that's if they ask you to start your teacher studies, that's the one for 1 year, then you can go for that. But if they said but if they don't, you just have to go straight and start up teaching once you meet up the minimum requirements in Canada. So after you have successfully completed the program, then you will be assigned to teach in a school, like I said earlier, either as a classroom teacher or an educational assistant, depending on your preference while you're making your application. And let's look at some questions that might arise, and some of them I've even gotten in my mail. So the first one is, if you do not have prior formal education degree from your home country outside Canada, but you have teaching experience, but you want to come to Canada to teach, how do you go about it? The truth is that you need proper teaching education before you can actually teach in Canada legally, all right, except you want to do something illegal, which I don't advise you to. Your experience may count, but teaching education in Canada, it's very essential. Like I said, the teaching profession in Canada is well regulated, so you need a formal teaching education before you can actually teach in Canada. So sometimes the board or the institution may request that you transfer some credits from your previous education to an education degree in Canada, or before you start studying in Canada. So take for instance, you studied bachelor's in science from your home country and you want to actually teach in Canada. You can actually get or transfer some credit from your previous studies into the one that you're going to be studying in Canada, so they can actually permit you to do that. You can't do that except they give you permission. So once you have done this, so they might be able to check everything, get everything assessed, and be able to let you know that you can actually continue your education, that's your teaching education in Canada, from maybe year 3 or year 4. Depends on the level of credit you have been able to successfully transfer into the new one that you're going to be studying in Canada. So as you can see, the standard in Canada is very different from other countries. I know in some countries you can study science and teach finance, you can study Yoruba or another thing and teach another thing, but in Canada is well regulated. It's not just like that. You need to conform to all the standard process while you're making your application. Another question might be, can I complete the entire process of certification from outside Canada? So my answer here, after my research and contact with the regulatory board and a past colleague who is now teaching in Canada, I would like to say yes and a no. So yes, after the board had assessed your qualification and training, this regulatory board determines if you will need additional physical training or not in Canada. So for some countries, the educational training might be sufficient enough for the teacher's license in Canada, while in some country, after the regulatory board finished assessing all your documents, it might not be sufficient. But you need to contact the regulatory board in Saskatchewan to be able to know that. So if the board says your international teachers training, that is outside Canada, is sufficient, then you don't need to do another physical one in Canada according to the regulatory board in Canada. No, if the board deems you or rules that you will need to complete or do more trainings, then you need to physically be in Canada at some certain point during your application or during your process. They will tell you how and when. So please have in mind that the training involves practicum or field work, or what some people call teaching practice, like teaching Canada school or Canadian school. So you can't do that virtually. So very important to notice that you can start the licensing process from your home country, but you may need to complete it physically, that if you're being invited to do that physically in Canada. So it depends on what the regulatory board stipulates or sends to you. If there is a reciprocity between your home country and Canada, then you need to follow due process. So another question will be, can I just go to any school in Canada for this teaching training just on my own? My answer is no. Before you can be enrolled, for example, on any teachers college at, for example, at the University of Saskatchewan, you need the letter of approval from the regulatory board. You can't do that on your own. So please have in mind that your certification process must have gotten to a level before you are given up an approval to start a training or not. So the next question here is, can I register or start for the teachers program without a previous or prior education experience? Yes, you can register at University of Saskatchewan, but you need to put in mind at some point during your studies you need the teacher's license. Hence, it takes away the part where you need to have your documents verified, since you already got it from inside Canada while you're studying, probably as an undergraduate, or from someone that started from year 3 or year 4 while you have transferred some credits from your previous studies in your home country. Also bear in mind that you can apply for Masters in Education in Canada, but it is not going to be the specific international educators training with the license for you to teach in Canada. However, there might be some exceptions at your own time. Okay, so in the U of S, that's the University of Saskatchewan, the Bachelor's of Education is aligned with the requirements of the SPTRB, that's the regulatory board, the teaching regulatory board in Saskatchewan. So with the BEd, or the Bachelor's in Education in the University of Saskatchewan, you don't require additional certification because the course requirement is curated, all right, to meet the requirements of the teaching board. And so for some people who would want to ask for teaching jobs in Canada, I already made a video on that: Canada licensed foreign worker recruiters in Saskatchewan and Canada work visa for foreign workers, that is stroke or / Saskatchewan jobs. All right, so you check off those links. I also put the link of the videos in the description box. You check off those links, check off those videos on how to get teaching jobs in Canada, so that you have, or you put in mind that after going through the licensing or the certification of your documents or your assessment of your document, there will be jobs for you to apply to as a teacher in Canada. So you need to know that some of those jobs, some of them come with visa sponsorship while some of them do not, but you need to check out the links, the jobs by yourself. Send mails if you need to, contact these job posters if you need to actually be sure if any of those have visa sponsorship. So if you're very curious, all right, about this teaching process or teaching processes in different provinces, you can try to take up a visitor visa to Canada to actually make more research and to actually be positive about this process. I already made a video on that, how to actually process or go through the visitor visa in Canada. The links are also in the description box of that video, and also how to convert your visitor's visa to work permits in Canada. So you can make do with that video, or also go, or you can try out conferences in Canada you can attend to and actually check out other things that you need to know about the teaching process or the teaching procedure in Canada in any of the provinces that you so wish to apply to. Please do well to watch the first video I made if you're not applying to Saskatchewan, if you're applying to Ontario, if you're applying to Alberta. Those are some of the provinces I made up in the previous video. But follow up step-by-step guide I have in that video. All right, you can send me mails and I'll answer at my free time, so that you can find out more about the process. Finally, reach out to the regulatory board in any of the provinces that you wish to apply to. They will be more than welcome to actually send you a feedback or to guide you wherever step that you have gotten to or that you have questions about. And so finally, please know that I might not be able to answer all questions as information get updated by these regulatory boards from time to time, just so that I don't mislead anyone, because I wouldn't want to do that. All right, so from time to time, if I cannot answer some of your questions, please try to actually send a mail to the regulatory board of any of the provinces that you want to apply to, so that they can be able to give you the updated information. So feel free to like this video, share this video with family and friends, comment or put your questions in the comment section. Also send me your success story in my email. The email address will be in the description box of this video. I will reply at my free time. All links that you need to know about with regards to teaching certification in Canada will be in the description box, and do well to also check the first video that I've made. If you found this video useful, share with your family and friends, subscribe if you're new here. Thanks for watching, and see you in my next video.